we're going to solve a two-step equation. Alright? So here's an example. 2x plus 6 equals 12. Alright? So the goal in these linear equations is to find out what x equals. Alright? So we're going to try to get x by itself. Alright? That requires us to move everything else to the other side. Now in math, in order to move one thing to the other side of the equal sign, we have to do the inverse operation. Okay? Alright, so I like to draw a line here to separate the two sides of the equation. Okay? Alright, so whenever we're trying to solve these, you're always going to do the inverse of addition or subtraction first. Alright? So here, the inverse of addition is subtraction. So we're going to subtract 6 from both sides. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. Alright? So our 6's cancel out. Alright? And then 12 minus 6 is just 6. Alright? And we can bring our 2x down. Alright? So 2x is the same thing as saying 2 times x. So the inverse operation of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide both sides by 2. Alright? Our 2's cancel out here. And 6 divided by 2 is 3. And then we just bring our x down. X equals 3. And that's our answer. Now we're going to solve a linear equation where we have variables on both sides. Alright, so here's an example. 3x plus 3 equals x plus 7. Alright, so the first thing we want to do, since we have variables on both sides, we want to get all of our variables to one side. Alright, and again, I'm going to draw this line here so that we know the two different sides of the equation. Alright, so in order to move things in math, we have to do the inverse operation. Alright, so this x here is positive, so we're going to do the inverse of that, which would be subtraction. Alright, so we're going to subtract this x from both sides. Alright, now we could have brought the 3 over to the other side, but then we'd have a negative number. Alright, we want to always try to keep our numbers positive. Alright, so the x's here cancel out. Alright, and then we got 3x minus x. Now remember, there's a 1 here, so 3x minus 1x is 2x. Alright, so we're going to bring everything else down. Our plus 3, and then our 7. From here, it's just a two-step equation, alright? So remember, we do the inverse of addition or subtraction first, alright? So that would be this 3 here. So the inverse of positive 3 is negative 3. So we're going to subtract 3 from both sides. 3's here cancel out, alright? And then 7 minus 3 is 4. And we just bring our 2x down. Alright, now remember I said 2x is the same thing as saying 2 times x. So the inverse of multiplication is division. Alright, so we're going to divide 2 on both sides. 2's cancel out here. And 4 divided by 2 is 2. Alright, and that's our answer.
Today we're going to review distributive property. First thing I need you to do is go ahead and draw your line to separate the equation from your equal sign. You're going to take this outside number, which will be the number you would distribute inside the parenthesis. We're going to say 4 times x, which will give you 4x. Then 4 times positive 2, which will give you positive 8. Bring this down, equals 32. Now we got to get rid of our 8. How we get rid of the 8? Find the inverse operation of positive 8, which will be minus 8. We're going to subtract 8 from both sides. Whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other side. Got positive 8 minus 8, cross out, cancel out. You're going to bring everything down. 4x equals 24. Now I got to get rid of my 4. What's the inverse operation of multiplication? Division. I'm going to divide both sides by 4. Cancel these 2 out. X equals 4 goes to the 24 6 times. How do you know this is correct? Now you're going to take the number 6 and replace it for X. So let's do that. We're going to do distributive property. 4 times 6, which will give us 24, plus 4 times 2, which will give us 8. What's 24 plus 8 is 32 equals 32. Got it? Very good. Woo! You done. Now, boys and girls, we're going to deal with the negative numbers. Let's draw a line first. The first time we want to get rid of our negative 4. What's the inverse of negative 4 will be what? Positive 4, positive 4. Remember, whatever you do to one side, you must do to the what? Other side. Then we have negative 4 plus 4. We're going to cancel these 2 out. Bring everything down. Negative 3x equals, let's wait a minute. Let's look at this. Negative 34 plus 4. Let's go ahead and put our little mark on negative 34. Then we want to add 4. If you look on the number line, if you're positive 4, you're going to the right. So we need to go to the right 4 places. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. Which will give us what? Negative 30. Now we need to get x by ourselves. We need to get rid of our negative 3. So we're going to divide everything by negative 3, negative 3. Let's look at this. Negative and negative makes it what? Positive. So these 2 will cancel out. Now we have x equals. We have a negative 3 divided in negative 30 will give us what? Positive what? 10. Very good.